Just to get us started, I'll share the screen.
Recording in progress.
Hey, you all welcome. Just as we start, the admin is here and we are going to be working together with the admin. And I'm glad to have you all here this evening. And I promise that it's going to be worth your time. And we will be glad we attended at the end of the day. I'll just get started while other parents join us as we go along. Yeah. So tonight we're here for a webinar, and as parents, we're here to discuss and rub minds together. It's a webinar on communication and if our children or if your child is struggling to speak in the public, because we all have children. If we do not have children, we have family members that have got kids, and that's the reason why we're here. So we're here this evening because we have children and we have noticed that there is a gap somewhere. Maybe there were times where we expected them to speak and they did not speak like we wanted them to. Or there were times where they did not use the right words that we wanted them to. And that's why we are here this evening, just for us to get more understanding and know where we as parents need to step in. Over the years, research has shown that 73% of children experience this fright in public speaking. They experience public speaking anxiety where they go out to speak. Sometimes they do not know the words to use. Sometimes they just freeze. Sometimes they just go out of points. But you know what? There is assurance, there is reassurance, and that's to tell us that if we step in, early intervention for these children will be able to make a difference because even research has shown that 80% of the children recover when they get intervention and they get intervention from different means. So, just to get us on, I would like us to use the chat. Have you ever had a day or sometime where your child was supposed to speak and the child held back? Or what was that thing when the child held back at that point of speaking and you didn't, how did you handle that situation? What did you say to the child? How did your child respond? What was it that you did to be able to manage that situation? Because we all have children, we've encountered such situations before. So, can we please use the chat and let us get started? So, what did we do when we had that encounter with our children? Maybe they were supposed to do a presentation, it could be in school, in church, wherever, in front of a hall, somebody's birthday, or even give a speech, but yet they froze or they had this, oh, I can't do it before they even got there. What did you do? What were the words you used? How did you manage the situation? Can I see it in the chat? I'm going to just wait to get responses for us to continue as we go on this evening. So, most times, most of us have had these experiences. Maybe our children have said something, they've acted a particular way. So, how did you manage it? What did you do? Can we talk about it in the chat just before we go ahead? I'm waiting to see the comments. Please, if you're not talking, can you mute? Thank you.
No, I'm in class. Mommy, I always want this. I don't only want to take people. I only want people. Oh my goodness. You know, huh?
I've not seen anything. Do we all mean that we've not had these cases before where our children maybe froze on us or they did not have the words to say even after the whole rehearsals? Maybe you've been teaching them the memory verse and it just got there and the child could not do it or something just happened. It's amazing. I've got people who don't have children then that have had this experiences. Okay,
Hello, sorry. I think I'll prefer to speak because I'm in the middle of doing something. So
beautiful. Please go for
typing.
it. Go for it, Mrs. Mary. Please go. I'm happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A situation whereby my daughter had to have a Bible recitation somewhat in during the church program.
Yeah.
So this is something we've been preparing using hand gestures. Trying to do like this because most times I try to incorporate using hand gestures for their recitation so that with that to be able to remember easily. But unfortunately, when she went there, she froze. So I have two occasions, and then one again she was very much prepared, but because of it was even virtual,
Yeah.
because of nervousness and all of that, I had to tell her to just to put the video off so that she
Okay.
wouldn't be so much nervous and shy. But still yet, you could see the nervousness in her. But at the end of it, I just told them that it's not about how well you present, but your participation, just to motivate them so that they could try. And then I tried to tell her that most will start introducing you to activities that will get you exposed and then you learn. And also kind of encourage them that it's just like learning to drive a car, because when I started learning how to drive a car, there was a time I had
Yeah.
a car crash. And even me, I was scared of even driving again.
Yeah.
But over time, I still had to keep going.
Help
And today
yourself.
I'm like an expert. There's no scare again. Like, oh, mom is going to have a crash. So I
Yeah.
always remind them that practice make perfect. There was a time when I started driving a car, I had a crash. But today I've done better because I kept practicing. So I just use that to encourage them that things you learn is just have to keep practicing, and then with that you get perfect at it.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
That's a great recap. Like you've just told us how it happened. We were not there, but I can just relate with what you went through that day. And
Yeah.
you know what? Today, from this meeting, we'll be able to know why those things happen to our children and even know what to say and what to do when those things happen. So, Mrs. Mary, thank you for sharing. You're not alone. Is there any other person who wants to share? If you
Hello,
can.
good evening, Sister Samira. This is Sister Tino.
Yeah, good evening, Auntie. Good evening, Mom.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, it's basically, to be honest, I can't remember the actual scenario, but I'm sure it's about one or two now with the little one. That's my girl.
Yeah,
It's just one thing is just believe in yourself. Just believe you can do it. I think that's just the main thing that like push her to do it. And at the end, I think it was in school. Yes, it was in school. I'm like, Mommy, I don't know what to say. I've forgotten all the things that I've been learning. We've been learning this thing at home. And she got
yeah,
there and she did it. I said, see, do you see? Just try and believe in you've tried. Even if you get there and you don't do as you have wanted to, but you've tried. So just
oh,
try and
beautiful,
believe in yourself and just give them more encouragement as well to keep
beautiful.
pushing like and the other sister has said and
Yeah,
keep
that's really
practicing.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank
Beautiful.
you.
Thank you very much for sharing that. That was really spot on. And these things happen to children. Your children are not alone. It happens to lots and lots of children. And that's why you can see the statistics shows that 73% of children really experience this thing. So it's not something that is common to you that you just sit down, oh, thinking, where will my child? Sometimes if you don't speak to people, or if you don't check and look out on for data, you don't realize that this is something that is commonly happening. Or if you don't have somebody, because sometimes you're just looking at those ones who are out there and all doing it. But the beautiful thing is, as parents recognize that this thing is happening to my child, give them the support they need, help the children to speak, encourage them, before you know it, they're out of that phase. They look back and they're like, oh, was I that child that was really unable to speak in the public? But then, in public speaking, it is like a multi-layer thing. When you think about the onions, there are different levels to public speaking. So the first of it is the child's ability to even understand. That's the comprehension. Okay, what's this thing I'm going to say? What's this thing I need to do per time? So that's the first part of that of the public speaking. That's the comprehension. And when you talk about after comprehension, you talk about constructing meaning, putting their thoughts together. Okay, I can add it, I can arrange it like this. Not for the ones, I'm not talking about just the ones they give them to go and present. It can even be the ones they are coming up with them by themselves. So the same thing happens, or the same layers apply in public speaking. So we need to remember that our children go from comprehension to meaning construction, where they put their thoughts together before they now formulate it into a language that they can understand. Remember when you have to keep repeating the lines, breaking the words down to the children, and now plan how to say it, know how to time themselves, maybe breathe, and you talk about things like hand gesture, like Mrs. Mary shared earlier. And before we now come to the great one outside that we talk about, which is speaking, the act of doing. And even after speaking, there is an opening for feedback to the children, where we tell them, oh, that was a good presentation. You did this, you did the other. So it's a whole lot, not just speaking and looking at it like, oh, it's an act of just talking. There are layers to it. And that's one thing we need to be aware of. So when you're talking about, oh, public speaking in children, or public speaking even in adults, whichever the group you're dealing with, it's the same thing. It's got layers to it. And the layers are those ones I have mentioned to you. All of it comes to play when the child is speaking. For some of us this evening, you have not heard me before. It's your first time of meeting me. Some people have met me. I am Auntie Samira. I'm Samira Wakaso Abdullahi, but the common name that I go by with the children is Auntie Samira. I'm a passionate person for children who has had years of experience with children, teaching them life skills, teaching them to communicate, teaching them that they need to make wise choices and pick out their own tribe to thrive in life. So I empower children, and I'm gifted with activities for them, crafts, and ability to actually break down these things to help them understand. Where you want to see me do and show my strength, then it comes to children. I think this is outside my own terrain today. It's where I have to speak to the parents. But because we are partners in raising the children that are wholesome, that's why I'm doing this evening. And I've got programs like the Vision Board Workshop, the communication and social etiquette bootcamps that I run for children. I am a mentor and trainer for children, and I am blessed with two beautiful daughters. I have just decided to let you know that this is Auntie Samira. So when you think about the Auntie Samira, who are you talking to, or who is talking to you this evening? It is Auntie Samira, and this is the reason I'm here tonight, for us to be able to build skills together and walk the journey. So we're talking about why children struggle. Why do they even, what are these things that affect them? Tonight, we're going to be grouping them into different factors. And for every factor, we'll break it down for us to relate and understand that, okay, this is the one that maybe is affecting. Oh, it's the other. And they come in different lights. It can be neurological, where it has to do with our nerves and development. It can be social, where it needs to do with interacting with people. It can be cognitive, or even the environment we find ourselves. Amazingly, even culture plays a role in this public speaking thing that we see our children go through. And when we talk about culture, when we talk about the social bit of it, a child has been excluded or rejected in the group where they go to school or where they go to church. Sometimes it's because they are new in a place. And you find out that because of that thing that has happened to the child feels, oh, I don't belong here. This is not my place. So the child tries to isolate most times. It might be a child that you've just taken to a new school and the child is staying back, holding back and not wanting to interact with other people. When other children are doing things, and you're wondering, what's the problem here? Why is this happening? It's because maybe the child has come and they've given them this shush. Sometimes it's with girls. A girl gets into a new space and the girls have already built their cliques. For mothers here, I'm sure if you have daughters, you can relate, or some fathers. Or when you talk about bullying, some people have been bullied. So under pressure, it's time for them to speak. They just remember, oh, I cannot, I cannot. And all they think of is I cannot. And that's why you see some children. So it's not just the surface thing we see. Sometimes it might just be beyond coming for that presentation, even after they have rehearsed the lines. They freeze when they just lose their thoughts. They just feel like, oh, I cannot. This verbal bullying, this thing that they've done to me, they laughed at me so much in the class. Now I'll just go there and I'll fail again. So it comes to them like there's a negative evaluation that they put themselves to get through. Oh, I'll just go there. I'll not be able to say it. And it just comes. And you know, the way the mind works is pam, 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 very quick. It processes in their head. And then you see your children hold back. You see them not wanting to go and talk. You see them not wanting to participate, not knowing that it's a thing that they have gone through in that space that is leading them to stay back. Sometimes it's the environment we find ourselves, like I gave an instance of school. A child is in school, that environment is new. Maybe there are loads of people and the child feels, oh, it's not comfortable for me here. Because you go through, you see children who come to a space and you're asking them, hello, introduce yourself to us, please. And the child just goes quiet. Not because the child doesn't know their name, but it's the environment. Maybe it's a new space for them and they're wondering, how do I thrive here? How do I open my mouth? How do I even put myself together? How do I put my thoughts together? And one little thing that person does, remember, to us it might just be little, but to a child it's a mega thing, because the way their minds process things are actually different from what the adult's mind will process. Sometimes it's the things children see on the internet. If you have a child who has come to that level, then of using phones and gadgets is also one thing to watch, because children begin to believe what they see on the stage. They believe, oh, this one is all arranged. So before they come to talk, they want to present themselves as perfect, all going with the make believe that those people have put out on the internet. And that gives our children reason not to want to talk, because they are comparing themselves in their head with somebody they saw on social media. They are comparing themselves, oh, maybe that person is quite a genius, and making themselves look little. And these things all impact our children in different ways. From the screen, I'm sure you can see some of them have got high impact, some are severe, some are moderate, but they all play a role in the day-to-day lives of our children and how they withdraw from public speaking. Sometimes it is the parenting that we show our children. Oh, everything we do, maybe the child does something and we correct over and again. So that environment becomes too toxic or too harsh for a child's mind. So that parenting style actually makes the child think, okay, even if I do this, I won't get it right. So these are all things that affect our children's environment. So remember that there are social factors, there are environmental factors, and under these ones we have explained different things. There are also neurological factors where the mind of a child is not as mature. So sometimes you give a child some lines, you might think, oh, these are simple lines, the child should be able to put them together. But I bet you that child's mind is not as matured as yours. The part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, where they used to make logical thinking and assess things, have not been developed so well. So then, the child cannot sit down and think, oh, how do I put these thoughts together? We just see them go there and they freeze, and you're like, oh, after all the presentation, after all the preparation. No, it's their mind. They've not gotten to that stage. They are not able to process it like you will do. So we give them time to grow because they are not adults yet. That's where we start bit by bit. And sometimes we as parents, we forget that our children mirror us. How do they mirror us? At some point, if we sit down and have a good reflection of when we were growing up as children, you'll find out that you were also anxious. You had this public speaking anxiety. Maybe you did not, some of us that come from Africa, we had memory verses. They gave us long memory verses to learn to say in front of the church. And there were times where you got there and you could not even remember and everybody started clapping. Now our children are at this stage and they are doing it how we're like, why will you do it? You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Keeps going. But we forget that we used to be like that at some point. So sometimes if we used to suffer these things, we don't expect that our children just grow out of it automatically. Most times it runs. But the good news is that even if it runs, you can rewire the brain. The good news is that you can teach them to do differently. Because you did it doesn't mean that they have to do it. And that's why life gets better and we have opportunities to actually teach our children and help them grow. Remember that we are all nurturers as parents and not carpenters. So we're trying to nurture them into doing the right thing. And a big one, a very big one for us as parents, especially those of us in the diaspora, is our culture. Our culture teaches our children that if you talk back at an adult, it's disrespect, or if you talk when an adult is talking, it's disrespect. Do I have a witness in the house? If I do, if you've ever heard at some point in your life while growing up, you were told, hey, don't talk to, or even you as a parent have told your children, don't talk to adults or don't talk back. Can I see a chat? Can I see it in the chat? So it's not like I'm here by myself because I want us to be able to actually talk or interact. So if you want to talk, just use your reactions and I'll give you an opportunity if you want to talk. If you want to type, please go ahead. If you've had heard that thing that says, oh, don't talk to people like that. Don't talk when an elder is talking. Don't look. You don't look in their eyes and all that. Do we have do we have witnesses? Do I have witnesses in the house? Oh, yeah, I can see a chat coming. I'm sure I've got people. Yeah, very true. Because our culture teaches us obedience. It teaches us that, oh, that's how we respect people. So our own culture tells us that you don't talk to an elder, you don't look in their eye, you have to wait, you stay quiet when an adult is talking. But over here in the Western world, they expect you to talk. They expect you to respond. They expect you to be able to look them in the eye when they're talking. And then we, from the place where we come, where we've all filled our children's mind with, you have to be respectful. You now see the child trying to talk and their head is down. So we have gone ahead to teach our children culture as obedience. And that has made our children sit back. And instead of empowering them, it's affecting them in the place of public speaking. So they go out and the things we've said, those voices we've repeated in their ears, you don't, you don't. It keeps ringing. Okay, mommy said I should not look in the eyes, and you're going, even when the school is saying something different, the child is remembering that, oh, it's obedience. Oh, it's respect. Oh, that's how I honor. So when the child comes back home, they thrive very well. They are able to open their mouth. They are able to relate. They are speaking their language. They are sharp. They are doing everything. But then they go outside and the child is like, oh, I'm back again outside. They don't, because in their houses, it's like a different space where they are free to do because they have learned the style back at home. But now they're coming out. Now talk to other people. Talk when people are talking. They almost cannot participate because we have given them a mindset that respect is obedience. Just obey by keeping quiet. Obey by, do you understand? Do we understand what we're talking about? Do we agree to it that this is a problem? Salamato has said it's very true. So do I have other parents who think this culture actually plays a role in what our children, in preventing children from speaking out in the public? I'll just spotlight people. I don't want to spotlight you because I'm saying children, we don't want our children to just be put on the spot like that, especially in speaking. So can we have Peter Success tell us? Do you agree to I can see a name Peter Success if you're able to talk? Please, sir. Is he a sir or a ma? I don't know, but I can see a picture of a man. If you are a sir, please go ahead. Are you happy to contribute? Okay, I think maybe he's unable to, if I get you. Okay, Mrs. Abisola, please, can you contribute? Do you think culture actually plays a role? What's your take on that?
I'm driving and I'm at work at the same
Ah,
time.
sorry about that. Yeah, sorry then. I'll let you go. Sorry about that. Mrs. Mary, do you want to say anything? Okay, Mrs. Mary has her hand up. Thank you. Please go for it.
Yeah, of course, very big one, just like you explained earlier. Culture has a way, back we Africans, it just feel like share respect. And then even not just even kids, I think it's everywhere. If you think about even some denominations, you don't what your pastor say, you don't question it. So even with parents, that's how we grew up, not being able to
Definitely.
express yourself or to question some maybe some facts or some things that is ongoing, and we just feel we just need to obey before complain. That's it. Obey
Yeah,
before complain, and we think obedience is not questioning and just keeping quiet, and that's how we just pass it on to our kids like that. So culture has a very big role to play, even
that's
coming here.
beautiful.
And our children get to suffer the cultural conflict where in
Definitely.
school they're telling them need to be open, express yourself, and at home back there are telling them how to just keep quiet. So it's like a conflict to them. Which one would they go
Exactly.
with?
That's the word.
And
Yeah,
for instance, I think in the one they find more friendlier or more it's not difficult ease they find ease with. I think that's one they want to tend to go to because there's ease with that one. I don't need to bug myself and there's not so much to put in. So they just feel I'm just be the quiet type. Whereas actually they're not quiet, but it's
that's
just how
right.
they've grown up with
That's
and
right.
make them seem that way. And
Thank you
that's my
so much.
contribution.
That
Yeah.
was beautiful. Yeah, that was a beautiful one. Thank you very much for bringing that light. And agreeing truly that culture plays a role. And if we sit down to look at it, we see that it has actually molded us, it has shaped us into who we are. And knowingly or unknowingly, remember that we're products of where we're coming from. And so we just continue to pass this on to our children. If we do not open our eyes and see things around us, see opportunities where, oh, we can actually make changes. Oh, we can actually do things to help our children see that they don't need to stay quiet. They need to understand boundaries, yes, but don't keep them quiet. And then, especially where it's conflicting at home is a different thing, in school is a different thing. So in their minds, remember that their minds are not all developed like that of an adult. So they're struggling in their heads like, what do I do? Which do I take? Do I go right or go left? So to ease the pressure, that's where the role of a parent comes in again. That's where we see that we as parents have a big part to play. Another thing that happens to our children that makes them really step back and not want to talk is high pressure academic families. They are families that say, ah, in our house we are good with this, we are. So when you make all those brags, you make all those things known, it's not bad to actually be good with something. It's not bad to be experts or gurus in a particular area, but sometimes it puts this unnecessary pressure on the child, and the child feels, oh, I'm not working at that level yet, I'm not at that stage yet. So the child wants to draw back. The child doesn't want to even go in front of anybody to say something because they're worried that, if I don't get it right, if it doesn't work out well, so there's so much going on in the mind of a child. Remember that they are children and not adults. So sometimes when we say behave now, it's like we're telling them behave like adults now, not behave as children, and forgetting that they have their own path to growing. They have their own levels, just like we grew. We all grew. We didn't just grow up to be like one day and we became adults. It took time. So we need to remember that they are going through their own stages, and this pressure actually tells on them. The more we keep ringing the alarms, oh, you need to do well like this, you need to, those things become pressure for our children. And knowingly or unknowingly, it affects them, it impacts how they see public speaking. They no longer see it as something to just come naturally. They no longer see speaking as something that they'll just flow into. It now becomes like a chore. It becomes difficult for children to do. When we talk about the culture, another thing that becomes a problem is dialect anxiety. Anu is a boy who loves to play football. And Anu obviously is Yoruba at home. But when he gets to school, he meets his friends. He's in the UK too. Anu meets his friends, meets other people in school. And remember that the school is a prime and proper space. It's like a place where you need to speak in a particular way, you need to behave in a particular way. All the etiquette they know in life come to play in school. But I know when he goes to the field, he's just listening to what the coach is saying. He's just passing his ball and things to his team members. Life is easy for Anu. He comes out being his best there. He behaves himself. He acts like, oh, he's the champion. Anu is even doing exploits on the field. But then Anu gets back to school. And you're like, ah, Anu, but you played this match. And it was like a big one that other people came to even watch. There were lots of people in the crowd cheering you on, telling you, clapping, and everybody wowing. And Anu he did not even fright. He was his best. But then he gets to school and Anu becomes another version, like a different version. You're wondering, okay, so what happened to Anu? It's the dialect anxiety. Anu knows that he has been taught. Anu was not born in the UK. He came from Nigeria as a child already. So Anu has his conky Yoruba accent because what he speaks or what they speak in their space is Yoruba language because that is his first language. Then he gets to school and he's worried about how he needs to polish himself and appear good or appear nice before his peers. So instead of Anu to come out to speak, instead of Anu to talk, Anu decides to hold back. Anu decides to sit back and not even come up that he can do any public speaking. Anu decides that no, this is not my space. But the reason why Anu is going through all that is because Anu has seen that these people speak in a particular way, but my own is not like that. And you know, the thing with children is they're able to pick, they're able to see what happens around, and then they begin to make judgments in their head. So Anu completely freezes and refuses to talk in school. So you see how dialect affects you and I as adults. We've come to the UK, we've come to America, we've gone to Canada, and we are trying to speak in a particular way. No matter how much we try to speak, we can't speak like them because we are not natives. And in our own time, when we talk to them, we try to speak like, try to make our words maybe because sometimes it sounds like we're singing or trying to sound in a particular way. So imagine how we try to switch. But when you see a Nigerian, when you see somebody that belongs to your own community, or when you see someone that is from your own background, there's a different way you speak because you feel like, okay, why am I even wasting all this my phonetics? Why am I wasting all this my change of tone? That's the same thing our children go through. When they get to a space where it is not their zone, they just feel like, oh, these people, they understand color too. It's just an unconscious bias that comes with everybody. The way it happens in adults, you get into a space, you tilt towards the people that are black skinned, you tilt towards the people that are brown, and you're leaving the whites. It happens in the minds of our children too. So it gives them anxiety and makes them want to hold back from going into the crowd to actually do anything with them. These are all things that our culture does to us. Sometimes it can be just what works in our children's mind, the cognitive bit, where they just see, oh, in public speaking, as soon as I come up, they're thinking of everybody's seen me. There are 1001. It might just be a few number, but in their minds, they read it as so many people. Like they almost give one person 100 eyes. So like every part of your body has got eyes. And in their minds, they read it like, oh, the crowd is looking at me. Everybody's eye. I hear my daughter tell me, I can't do it because I don't want everybody to look at me. So it's that everybody's eye is on me. The spotlight, they feel like, oh, they're out there. Everybody's seeing me. That makes them want to hold back and just sit with the crowd. They are happy when they see other people. You need to see the smile on their faces. They are proud of the other people when they see them go to present. But they as children want to hold back. Sometimes they think of the worst thing. What if I go there and the ground opens? What if I go there and everybody laughs? They just think of what, so sometimes it's the spotlight, they're seeing everybody's eye on them, or sometimes they're thinking, it can just be the worst. At the highest doom they can think of. It's amazing when a child opens their mouth to say things like, what if I fall? Like you wonder, who is pushing you that you want to fall? Have you heard that kind of story? What's the worst thing your child has told you when they're going for a presentation that made you look back again and say, where's that coming from? Can I have a parent's share, please? So I know I'm not just in this thing because these are real life situations we come across with our children every day. So let's hear Salamatu, please, can you share with us an experience you've had where your child told you something, the worst thing, and you're like, that one is big now. Can you share? Do you want to share with us, please? Mrs. Salamatu, are you there? Let's make it interactive. Why are we not saying anything? Because I know I am not alone in this journey. Okay. If you're unable to talk, do you want to use the chat, please? Mrs. Jemima, are you able to share? Maybe something your child has told you when they needed to go and speak in the public. And in your mind, you're like, where did that even come from? Because you know it's not just even possible. Do I have people who don't like public speaking on this call today? Because I don't understand why I'm having to talk by myself. It's only Mary and Mrs. Abayomi that seem to be like the ones that are engaging in this public speaking space. Okay, please go for it again, Mary. Yeah, Mary, you have the floor.
So I say the one I can remember is my daughter saying, "What if I forget?" And I'm like,
Oh,
you can't forget. That's what we are practicing. She said, "Yes, what if I forget?" I said, "We are practicing. That's what we are." I said, "You won't forget once you practice." She said, "What if I forget?" I'm like, "You can't." That's why you're practicing early. So you just look for like I think he's looking for a safe net for them to fall
exactly.
down to. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
That's my
That's right.
contribution.
Yeah, thank you. That sounds really familiar because I've had my little girl tell me, what if I forget? If I forget what I need to say? And I'm like, it's even okay if you forget. Just go there and forget, but let me see you go. Because it's another thing for them to walk there and even go put themselves out that they want to do it. So that's a familiar line. It's not just a line that is common with you, Mrs. Mary. Thank you for sharing. Do I have any other person who wants to share, or we just go ahead? Okay, I'll assume that is a no. Nobody wants to share. So sometimes our children also experience this fear because they want it to be perfect. There are some of us with ideas that have not come out for so many years because we're trying to reform the thing. We're trying to make it all good without error. So our children go through that thing too. And that's what Mary shared when she said, what if I forget? So they just want to think, oh, that's not even doom thinking, because that's that fear of, oh, what if the fear of error, in that case of what if I forget. But the one where you hear them thinking of doom is, what if I fall, what if my chair this. They just come up with different idea, different things in their minds, and you're wondering where did it come from. And sometimes they come up reading people's minds that is not even true. You hear a child tell you things like, when I spoke, the teacher did not smile. That's because I made a mistake. They are reading minds of people that are not even aware that that is happening. Maybe the teacher was carried away doing something and they just judge it to be the teacher did not smile because they did it wrong. Or they noticed that it was only three people that clapped their hands for them. That means other people think they did not do well. So they go into mind reading, a skill that is not supposed to be used in that space at that time, but just because they fear public speaking. So these are all things that actually keep children from going all the way out to go speak in the public when they have an opportunity or a chance to do that. And all these things happen to our children, and they are still in the same space with us. But their parental behaviors, some of them are actually unknowingly. So it's not like we're in a space where we're judging people or saying, oh, you've done this wrong, you've done. No, this is a safe space, and we are all partners together in raising children that will stand out, because public speaking is not a skill that is needed for university or needed for secondary school. It's a skill that is needed for as early as they can think of. As early as a child can have that skill, then it's better we begin to equip them with the skill. And what feels comfortable to you sometimes as an adult, remember that we are all in different skills. The children are not at the same level with us. What feels comfortable for you as an adult might just not feel comfortable for your child. It might just be more than their own level, more than what they can take. But you are doing it from the place of love, having no reason, no thoughts for evil. And these parental behaviors, I will just want us to look at ourselves and think of where we fall, because I also can see myself in these ones. It's not like it's just for you. And that's why I'm saying it's not a judgment zone. It's not a time for us to say, me, I'm better than the other. No, it's like a time to sit down, review, and see where our own behaviors contribute to what our children go through, or how we are products of what our children. Remember, I said we're products of our environment, and knowingly or unknowingly, it rubs off on our children. So, our parental behaviors include things like the rescuer or overinterpreter. So, somebody comes to your child and they ask them a question. It might be as simple as even going to a doctor's appointment. If I have people that are guilty, just begin to write to you inside the comments so that all of us will see ourselves in the same group. Now, you go to for a doctor's appointment, and the doctor is asking your child how they are feeling. This child is able to talk. This child is able to explain because they explained to you. But you just step in and you begin to tell the doctor, the leg is paining her. The way it's paining is from the left side to the right. But the person who is experiencing the pain is sitting right there. So sometimes we rescue our children. We help them interpret what someone else wants them to do, which blocks the space for our children and does not allow them get those opportunities to thrive on public speaking. They just decide in their minds, because you're rescuing them, something registers in their minds. Remember that the way you think is not the way your child gets to think. So what registers in their mind is, my mom will always come through for me. Somebody will always be there to say it. There's always someone else that will step in. So that's what the overinterpreter or the rescuer does to the mind of a child. So that child is thinking and looking when you ask. So by default, the child gets asked the question. And because we've always fallen victims of trying to explain, or trying to answer for the child, this child defaults to just staying quiet because mommy will come through. Have you seen that happen in children before? We might have been doing that before. Some of us might have improved. We might have left that WhatsApp group. Even as simple as, what is your name? And you're helping the child to answer, her name is this. That's rescuing your child, because the child can actually explain for themselves. They are performance-focused parents. Parents who just want it has to be the best. It has to just come through, and because of our standards, you can't fall less. The child just feels, I don't think I need to try, because there is a way that mommy wants it. There is a way that daddy wants it. So as much as we want to build the skills of our children, as much as we want to give them big goals to achieve, we need to remember to start small. Because sometimes their brain registers it as, the bar is up there and I cannot get there because I'm still coming down. I'm still down here. And because the bars have not reached, there's no need to try. Sometimes we act as anxious mirrors. Parents are anxious mirrors. I am guilty because I found myself doing this. They call a child maybe to read impromptu, or the child even wants to answer a question and your head is bowed down like, what's this one going to say again? How is she going to come across? You're helping her to process or think of how he or she will structure the sentence. And that mirrors for our children. Our children see. Our children watch us when all those things are going on. And they're like, maybe I'm not good enough. That's why mommy thinks that I shouldn't read it. Or maybe that's why her head is bowed down. Or maybe that's why mommy is just unable to sit still on the chair. So our children can read us. They can see what is happening. They read our behaviors, they read our actions. And that anxiety just mirrors back. And they're like, okay, let me hold back. So you see these parental behaviors. We're not doing it because sometimes it's just emotions. How will the child? You're just, it's just not a comfortable space for you. So why will this child even raise up their hand? And then it's sending a different message to your child. Or sometimes we are comparing parents. Ade did not do it like that now. When he went to present, first time he just got all. How can you do that? it's registering in the mind of a child. It's telling the child that, I'm not good. I can't do it. So the way we do it, the way these things, we are not doing it from a place of hate, or it's just from a place of love, from a place of protection. We want them to be more. We want them to actually grow. We want them to try new things. But the way we are doing it is sending a message to the mind of our child, because what they hear is different from what you've said. Oh. Okay, I'll give you an instance. There was a day my little girl was drawing, and after drawing, she came happily to present to me. And when she came to present, she had put in her best. You understand the effort that of a child that she had put in. And when she presented it, I asked her, "What did you draw?" And she said, "Daddy." My good people, that daddy was not daddying. And I just looked and said, daddy is more handsome than this. That was the end. That was all I said that broke my daughter down. The next I turned, I saw her crying. And I was like, how did we get here? What happened? And then she goes, "You said my drawing is ugly. You said it is not beautiful after all the work I put in." So I hope we can see what you say and what they hear. It doesn't tally sometimes. I meant a different thing, but what she heard was a different thing. What registered in her mind was a different thing. I had to run into repairing there and then, because there is no drawing as beautiful as that drawing I have seen in my life. That was the best drawing I have ever seen. To build her back again, to make her know. And I did not just apologize there and stop there. Another time I came back again to that apology. I even shared with her sister and said, "See what happened and how I said the drawing was not, that daddy was more beautiful than this, handsome than this particular drawing, and see what it led to." So sometimes what they hear is not what you're saying. We need to check it. It's from a place of love, but their minds are not as matured as we think it is. We as parents sometimes want to step in for our children, and we give them this label. I've met parents that say, "She's the shy type. She's not as confident as her sister. She's hearing it." So the child takes on the label, and it becomes an excuse for not trying at all. They take on the label and say, "Okay, why not use those labels?" It's not okay that we label children. It's not okay that we give them names. Why? Because in the point of labeling them, it doesn't allow them space to grow. It limits their mind. So it just gives them this fixed mindset. In one way or the other, as parents, we've labeled our children. We might say, "Oh, God forbid." But it might just be something like, "She doesn't like to talk where people are." Those are labels. And it's beginning to sit with our children, and they're feeling, "Oh, it's okay. It's fine if I do this. It's fine if I just walk in that light." But it's actually not supposed to be, because those are some of the things that make our children hold back. Because when they hold back, it's a place of comfort. They decide not to try. Their heads are just sealing it out. There's no need to try public speaking. After all, I'm shy. They've accepted me like that. So the labeling parents, let's all take notes. Sometimes as parents, we have inconsistent expectations from our children. Today you get into a space and you're on point with, "We're working on greeting." They need to greet because they came into that space. Another day, you forget that you even need to check those things. So they don't know what they expect, and they just feel like, "Okay, I can dance around. I can just play around with this public speaking." And before you know it, they are staying back. Or even the ones that are public coaches like me. When you get to the space, you're like, "Don't you know how to greet? Don't you know?" Those corrections we do on the spot, sometimes they don't help. I had my daughter tell me one day, she said, "Mommy, can you not tell me to greet outside? Just allow me to greet naturally." So this public coaching puts pressure on our children. Or you're going into a space, and before you come in, "I'm guilty. If you are guilty, raise up your hand like me." You tell them, "This is how you should do, this is how you should do, this is," and all that. You've left the house. Maybe you're just at the door of the house, at the door of the place. And when they come in, they decide to stay very cold instead of coming out to even do anything, because you've given them all the warning. And people are saying the children are well behaved. Well, it is public speaking that we are now shutting our children up from. Or the parents that just make their children avoid going to spaces at all. They don't even allow the children. "Oh, try because they are thinking, what if and what if not? So that's the protective avoider. Now, parents, we are all here. I'm sure we have how many people here on this call? Can I see where do you think you fall? I've been asking parents to talk and I've not got people talk like I want to. Only Mary has been. Mary, please, I'll call you again. Let me start from you before I go to Mrs. Abayo.
Can you repeat the question? I got carried away. Somebody was talking to me. Sorry.
Oh, okay then. Mrs. Abayomi, I'm saying that from all these explanations of different parents and the names are on the screen, where do you think you've fallen? Like, at some point I've been this one, I've been the other. Can I have you share with us, please?
Anyway, I'm not sure if I got the message right anyway, because I got cut off a few minutes. So what I can just say concerning all we've been discussing is what's really I think you mentioned I may not be asking and answering this particular question, but
Okay.
what I just want to say is I think while you were saying maybe when children goes to like GP, yeah, that's the one I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to like interrupt you. I think I'm just one of the parents that would be like that's me. When we get it, have you greeted the doctor? Good afternoon.
You're a public
Yeah,
coach, number one, I've
yeah. Have
identified
you
for you.
greeted? She hasn't greeted. Have you greeted the doctor then? Okay. Then they don't, like you said, they'll ask, what's your name and what can we do for you today? Then I'm one of the parents that will say, okay, explain yourself just the way you told mommy, tell the doctor. So if she's now
Beautiful.
not getting what she should say, then I can like, okay, intervene and say, okay, she said this, she said that, and all of that. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. So, Mrs. Abayomi has told us that at some point she's been a public coach too. Like all of us, I'm sure most of the parents here have been public coaches. Don't you know how to greet? Have you said hello? Have you done this? Have you done the other? We all have been public coaches. So, do I have Mary? Mary, are you ready for us?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself, please? Have you just tell me?
Okay. I think I see myself almost up to four places, but I think I'm getting better at it.
I
So
love it.
I'll start from the comparer. To be honest, I think it's unique to all moms. I think it's just a natural thing, but when you identify it, you just have to kind of work on it.
Yeah,
So I find myself, the child is doing this. I think my child should do this.
exactly.
But where I God gave me ability to overcome it, I became better was when somehow I think the Holy Spirit ministered to me that God is unique. Now, when you see people in different ways, just say, appreciate the uniqueness of God in them. Everybody
Mhm.
are not the same.
That's right.
There's a uniqueness of God in everybody. So
Exactly.
appreciate it. So your daughter, she's unique in a particular way. So most times when I like, oh, this one, let me try to do. I'm like, oh, no, no, no. I just look God. I appreciate the uniqueness of God in that person. So it's okay. My daughter, she's unique. I always tell them, you are peculiar, you are unique. Don't compare yourself to anybody. However you are is the way God and God sees. Like I make them to understand the way I understand. So I kind of pass it on to them so that they will not fall into the trap of wanting to compare themselves with, oh, my classmate is this one does this and I'm not doing that. Those kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I think I'm also the performance-based parent because I just remember that today, my daughter, she has they do at the end of the week, like on Fridays, they do like a test, spelling test.
Okay.
They give them spelling for the week and they practice and then they come back. So this time I was like, no, I have to put eye on this spelling. I keep telling her, you cannot fail anyone. You must get 10 over 10. She said, Mom, what if I say you cannot fail? You must get 10. You must get it. Oh, I kind of push any little thing. Have you done your spelling? Blah, 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 blah. And then she asked me, what if I fail? I said, you cannot fail. You cannot fail. Other people having and not having two heads. Why will you fail?
I get that line sounds very familiar. Other people getting it don't have two heads.
I said
Yes.
the same spelling, the same teacher, the same classroom. So why will you fail? So I think I just need to lessen a little bit. I just let her be.
Beautiful. It's beautiful that we can see ourselves through this thing. And if we must confess, thank you very much, Mrs. Mary, for
Yeah.
sharing. If we all confess, we will see that truly at different points we've been public coaches. We've also even been comparers. Maybe we've compared them with their siblings, not even going outside because we grow from from different levels. Maybe we've heard, oh, it's not good to compare. So you stop comparing them with the ones outside, and you now come into the inner circle. You're comparing them with their siblings. When this one was like that, she did not do this. When there's this thing, and the children are listening to it. But it's beautiful that we are receiving deliverance and we are getting to learn. And that's why I told you that no matter what it is, we can rewire. So the brain can learn. And as we learn, it stays imprinted because most of us have got things that we've learned or things that we know that are wrong. And as we go along, We're trying to take those ones off and imprint new ones. Beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing. Mrs. Jamima, are you ready to share with us? Do you see yourself in any of this? Do you want to talk now? Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. Good evening. Oh, sorry, I've been quite busy.
That's fine.
But
Good evening, if you can talk, please. Yeah.
yeah, and like she said, it's I think more than two or three there.
Okay. So tell me, what is it? Tell other parents, because you're not alone. It's the beauty of it. We're all work
Like
in
like
progress.
I like comparison. I always say, Adriel, when you were Arabella is more better than you when she was small. She used to. I like comparing it. Not until now that you are talking, I don't remember. And then secondly, on is it a public coach?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah.
That's one that, yeah,
I
I know.
think you've once corrected me on something like that. When I came with Adel to your house and now you were asking something before you knew it, I just answered. You say he has mouth to talk.
That's the rescuer parents. You just want
Yeah.
to help him come through. You just want to come through for him. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Amazing. Thank
that's it.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Lovely. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Mrs. Olamide, are you ready to tell us? Where do you see yourself on the screen, please? Hello? Are you there?
Ah, okay.
Are you able to talk, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank God. Sorry, I'm driving. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm so sorry that I joined in late. Yeah, so I'm looking at the slide. Okay, I think I found myself in over expectant.
Okay. Okay.
I
So can you
found
tell us?
myself
Yeah.
over expectant, and I think sometimes as parent you you put yourself as a shadow or as a mirror of your children sometimes, and if you're not careful with that, so I think sometimes I'm over expectant. Sometimes I have to tell myself, don't you think that was too much? Then I think by the grace of God, God has really been helping me to be able to go back to my girls and tell them, okay, I think I over expected. I did not explain that to you. I already finished the task in my head and all that. So I think I found myself in that
Beautiful.
over interpreter. Okay, I'm an overthinker myself. So I think so I keep checking in on maybe sometimes like, okay, is this what I think that you're doing? And they tell me no. Comparing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah. So I have two opposite girls. Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm sure of that. I have two opposite girls, and sometimes I'm thinking, no, no, this person is not like this other person is not like that. So I think, and I've been called that so many times. I'm like, okay. So I've learned to experience both of them in their own way, and just not for myself, but for themselves too, so that they don't I don't create a talk between them. So I have two girls, if I keep saying that. Public
Beautiful.
coach, no, I didn't like it growing up. I hated it. So my children goes first and big above any other person. So I think that is performance focused parent. I used to be, and I think yesterday I could say I'm finally not. When my girl sent me a message and told me, "Oh, I did this," which is was unusual. I'm sorry. And I was like, no, that's good. It's good that you failed. And she was so surprised. I got back home and she was like, I was surprised at your response. I was like, yes, because I feel you needed to know what it means for other people that have failed in that area and to be able to know that their failure wasn't because they didn't try their best. That but
That's
everyone can make mistakes. Yeah,
That's lovely. Thank you so much for
exactly.
sharing. Thank you. Thank you. That's really nice. These are real life examples. And the reason we are sharing is because we need to know that you're not alone in that space. We've all been there. Some of us are still there. Some of us are still trying to walk out of it. Some of us did not even realize that we were this like these things had effects on our children until this evening. And we're now seeing ourselves, we're now seeing, oh, so this is what it does. This is what actually happens in the mind of a child. So thank you all for sharing. Do I have any other person who wants to share? Okay, Mrs. Abayomi, please go.
Yeah, I just want to share, like, should I just say, just to give a scenario,
Yes,
and
please do.
maybe you ladies can just like this comparing of a thing. So I could remember when my boy was very little, and him and his cousins, they are twins, so I think they are like almost 2 years older than him. So by the time we went to greet them in London, we went to visit, he was already off his nappy. He wasn't using nappy anymore. So their mom were like, oh, see, Demi is not doing this. You guys, you are older. You are still doing this. You didn't do that. And to be honest, I think after 2 or 3 weeks that we came back to our own base and all that, we're just talking. She was like, Sister Sinu, can you believe the twins are top? You know? So I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing. I'm just trying to like think. I don't know if sometimes maybe it depends on sometimes the impact it has on the children, I think is sometimes depends on how we put it across to them. And sometimes it tends to motivate them to be like, yes, I think I may be able to do it as well. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm just trying to like because she was like starting and you see, I told you, see, they've stopped using nappy now. And I think it was because of what I said. So I don't know what she had said when we left. I don't know how she encouraged them. I don't know how she pushed it further. It may not just be that saying alone that worked for them. Understand? So I think sometimes, not in a bad way, in a good way, and we can put in because you can't compare them to me. You can only compare children to somebody in their age group, in their peer group. We can compare ourselves like parents, like you're saying, we all have this experience, we are sharing it. We can't tell our children to be sharing the same experience as we are sharing because they've not even gotten the experience. So I don't know if you guys can share more light into that, or I don't know, yeah, that just comes to mind right now. So I just
Beautiful.
felt I should share it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing. Is there anyone? Okay, I can see other me this hands up before I go. Okay, you go then.
Um, and I'm talking from someone that grew up in a space that was compared. There, no matter how positive it looks like, one thing you've done to that child is to shut who they are inside of them. There is no amount of any way we want to sugarcoat comparing, whether with cousins, with anybody. Yes, the child will continue to do something good because the child will become a people pleaser because the person he just wanted to make the parent feel good. He just wanted that, oh, my cousins came and they were praising them for what they did. I wish I was praised like that. The child becomes a people pleaser. Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you
thank
very,
you.
thank
Thank
you very much for sharing. I was going to say that comparison, no matter how much we try to say it, is not a good thing at all for any child. The thing is, because of where we come from, it is seen like it's normal. Even till date, like sometimes I speak with people, and when they compared, like they try to put the children on a scale, I just tell them every child is unique just to help them remember because I know where we are coming from. It was done to us and we just took it as a normal way of life. We think that that's the reason these changes happen. But who knows if it was just time for that child to stop using that diaper? Who knows if that thing did give the mother the results she thought she needed at that time, but had done more damage in the life of a child. I'll give you an example. There was a day I was talking to Shalomith. I can't remember exactly the word I used, but what she said is, Mommy, there you go. You're comparing me with her. And immediately she said it. I said, no, I'm not comparing you. If it came across to you as comparison, that's not what I meant to do. I was just trying to show you that, oh, Shamaria did this. Not because I'm saying, oh, Shamaria is better than, because sometimes even the children come to you. I don't know if you experience it in your own space and they say, who did better at this stage? Or who is better than this? Who is better than that? So the comparison, no matter how much we try to look at it, is actually a bad thing that it is to children or even to us as adults. Sometimes we can't see the extent of the damage it has caused because we've all grown and we say, after all, we are adults, we've grown up, we are all okay, everybody claims to be okay. But when you look down, when you look deep inside, you find out that there are some scars that are there because you were compared. There are some things. You might see a child who appears confident on the outside, but inside, that child is broken. That child lacks self-esteem. And because of the lack of self-esteem, they just want to get validation from places where they are not supposed to get it. So this comparison actually plays a role in that, in getting all these low self-esteem issues, especially for girls. Comparison, no matter how much we say, it might have worked for her, but it's actually not a good thing. So instead of comparing and saying, maybe you can just tell the story. Sometimes you role play, oh, I have a child who was at a particular age, who did this, who did that. So we paint a picture. There are times where I paint a picture, I tell a story, and I'm telling the story about my daughter. And days later or so, she'll come back and say, Mommy, that nesty you were talking about, were you talking about me? And I'll be like, oh, did you see yourself in that story? And it becomes a reason for us to have a conversation. So let's, as much as possible, try to present it on a better scale instead of comparing them. I think we've stayed on this particular slide. So do we want to go on? Is there anything, any other question that wants to come from it, or anybody who wants to share? Okay, I think that says we're fine. So now we're talking about steps that we as parents will need to take to empower our children because, oh, we've talked about public speaking, we've talked about the role we play as parents that make our children struggle. Sometimes it's not just us, because talking about those factors, environment, we don't have anything with, oh, their schools are making people bully them. It's not us. But as parents in the house, as nurturers, as mothers, as fathers, what do we do to actually help our children come through that stage and begin to see public speaking as a walk in the park? It's not a walk in the park, but just for them to see that they can do it. They are able to go through it. It's for us to connect with them, share this real life experiences. And when we're connecting, we're doing things like games, we're telling them our own stories. Let them see areas where you also failed. Tell them how you went for a presentation and you froze. There's an instance of where I was called upon to come and do announcements in church and welcome first timers. I got to the place, I did only announcements and forgot to welcome first timers. Hey, everybody sees you like, oh, you know, you're an expert. Oh. And then when they said you missed this, I humorously told them that's when you give a first timers to welcome to. And then I did it. But if I've not shared the story with my children, they'll just think you're all up there and you never can make mistakes. So in connecting with our children, then we can tell them ways to correct these things. We can now provide avenues for them to actually make the changes and begin to love public speaking. So a first thing to do is to connect. If you're connecting already, connect the more. Because in connecting, you're able to identify the gaps. You're able to see where you need to work on. You're able to see where you need to make changes to. Now, just like the ladder is, you already know what your child is able to because you have connected with your child. Then you map out a pathway for this child. Maybe it's starting from comprehending something that you read to the child. Because I taught a child who was in primary 5 at some point, and the child was struggling with comprehension. You will think, oh, it comes easy because the child has grown to a particular stage. That child will read a story, I'll ask him questions, and he was finding it difficult to actually understand what he was reading. And that was why I was brought to support the child. So there were different things he was finding difficult to do. Now, I will not go for that child and say my first step is for the child to come and present in front of 20 people or in front of 30 people. That's not the target. I will start from reading stories for that child so the child is able to understand. I will start by, after reading the stories, the child is able to answer the questions. I'll ask him questions about his thoughts, what he thinks. I'll begin to make inference. Okay, well, how did you think the story will end? And so I'll map out a pathway for that child. So what does this tell us? That as parents, you need to know your child and know the pathway to map out and now begin to increase it based on the progress they make. So you're not just climbing the ladder from, like, you just see the ladder and you go up. Remember the picture we just had where the lady was climbing. So you don't just go from, oh, you just see the ladder and you go to the top. You make it gradual. You expose them to bits and pieces, little by little, knowing their strengths, knowing what their problems are. And remember, we are raising unique children. So what is the problem for Anu will not be the problem for Ade. They are two different children and their path that they need to follow will be different. Then we as parents need to model this public speaking. I want my child to speak in the public and I go into a place. I don't even say good evening to anybody. I stay by myself, pressing my phone till I leave the space. I'm not modeling public speaking. We are introverts, we are introverts. Yes, introvert is okay to be an introvert, but it's still okay to open your mouth and talk. It's still okay to carry a presence when you get into a place. I think the other day, I heard my daughter ask me, why do you greet people even when you don't know them? And I told her because I carry a presence. So what we are saying we want our children to do, as small, as little as it is, it's for us to model. And by modeling it, by doing it, they are seeing. They don't just listen to what we tell them to do. They do what they are seeing us do. And that's the power of modeling. Then as our children begin to do these things, begin to come out of those shells, begin to try new things. Maybe they greeted Mr. A without greeting Mr. B. But remember that the child is coming from a place where they couldn't even greet at all. Let's praise the effort. Let's not say, you greeted 5, you did not greet number 7. Let's see that they are working, they are trying, let's tell them about, oh, I can see you. I see you're really doing well. I see you're putting in effort to make this thing happen. And that will build them. It gives them this confidence that comes from inside. The rescuing parents, I bring you good news that we should please work on our emotions. And because it's our emotions, it's just impulse that wants to make us step in and help our children. So if there is anything you will think of after today that I want to raise a confident speaker, I want to raise a confident communicator, then if I will do that, I need to step back. I need to stop coming in to rescue. I need to stop coming in to give the answer just immediately. I need to teach them that it's okay for them to make mistakes because mistakes are part of the journey. As they make mistakes, they get better. But if they don't make mistakes at all, they never know how it feels. So we need to allow them opportunity. So how do we create opportunity? Sometimes people will say, oh, but maybe my child did not get picked up in school to do the presentation. Maybe it's not her year group that is doing it. We can make those things happen in our houses. Give them opportunities to read a book to you. Everybody's acting like the audience and you're clapping. Just those little things build their confidence. Okay, if I can do it before 4 people, I'll be able to do it in front of 10. I'll be able to do it in front of 20. And that's how we begin to give them opportunities to grow. We begin to allow them see spaces to thrive. If there is a presentation that is coming up, let's plan with our children. Or maybe we're going somewhere and they'll have an opportunity to speak there. Can you tell your children what to expect before we get there? Sometimes that's the reason they just shy away because they are not in the know, they are not in the picture. But if we plan with them, if we give them an idea, like they can foresee that, okay, when I get there, I'll meet this person, meet the other person. I have to play with these children. It gives them a picture and it helps them build themselves. So instead of going there and sitting by themselves and not wanting to interact or clinging too much to you, even when the children are their age mates, because you've planned ahead, they started working on their own minds. So that's a part that parents need to play. Remember, we talked about connecting. You can read to them, explore healthy literatures because there are lots of books now that don't make sense. So you're trying to build confidence in your child. You're trying to build communication skills. Apart from just comprehending, putting their thoughts together, you want to be sure that they are taking in the right content too. And as a parent, the change takes time. It's not suddenly. There is no magic one that just turns it around. It's a gradual process. So you trust the process. Trust that everybody is on a unique journey. And as you do it, you'll begin to see the changes little by little. It might not be that big one, but for the little wins, celebrate them. Don't wait for them to be very big. The small ones you see, say well done about to them. And don't always wait for perfection. I want it to be the standard. Remember when we already have a picture in our minds as parents, and then the children are not doing it to that level and it's bringing problems is our expectations. Yes, the expectations of the righteous will not be cut short, but we should just allow them so that they can also have learning opportunities because making mistakes are part of the journey. And don't forget to collaborate with people, collaborate with others. If it becomes a problem where you need to seek help, don't be quiet, don't stay with it. Oh, I don't want to compare my child. But there are things you've seen that children at this stage are not having this problem or are not doing like this. Ask, do you think, do you think I need to see an expert? Do you think I need to see a therapist? Do you think the child needs a coach? Do you think the child needs a mentor? You have people, you can't do life alone. Don't do life alone. Speak out and seek help. Collaborate with schools, collaborate with mentors, collaborate with coaches, because in doing this, you will be speaking the same language that others are speaking around the same space. And that's how we're able to help our children get the right environment. So it's not just for them to be by themselves. They need to always have the right people. So you, as a parent, it's your duty to choose who to collaborate with. And in collaborating, that's why I announced to you that we have a communication and social etiquette bootcamp that is coming up for children. For those of us that are on this call that have not registered, it's an opportunity for us to get on and get our children into this bootcamp, because there are people here who have been a part of the bootcamp. It's a program boot camp that has transformed lives. It's transformed children, and beyond just children, even parents were unaware of some of the things that were shared in the class, and parents themselves could testify that they found it useful at parent level even before talking about the children level. So this boot camp starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. And you don't want your child to miss it, because it's going to be value filled and it's going to be a change in the right direction. Remember that we as parents need to collaborate with people. And when you talk about testimonies, there are loads and loads of testimonies that can be shared about people who left their spaces of, oh, I couldn't speak, I did not know what to do, I did not know how to express. And before you know it, they were able to now come to a place where they put their thoughts together and they use their words. Because yes, our tears will not get the answers for us, but if we're able to speak, people understand what we're saying per time. So, in conclusion, as parents, what we do with our children as nurturers is that we help them build skills. Not just the courage of, oh, you come and stand in front of the crowd. It's building skills like leadership. It's building their esteem. It's building their confidence. Because a child who is able to speak, is able to lead people, is a skill that is needed in leadership. So we as parents, as nurturers, are not just building for the crowd. We're not just building, oh, for the applause that they get. We are building life skills that they need beyond the space that they find themselves, even into their workspaces when they grow up. And the place to start from is in our homes, because our homes is like a safe space. I'm happy to make a mistake at home because I know nobody will laugh at me. I know that the pressure will be less. I know that nobody will ask me anything. So parents, let's support the child, support our children, help them by reducing this anxiety. Hey, do it this way. Hey, speak to this person. It's pressure on them. Their brains are seeing it. What they are understanding it as is pressure. Oh, I need to meet a standard. So let's make our homes a safe space. And when they build that confidence inside, it will radiate outside. Let's help them create that space that is safe enough. Because when we allow them in that space, they understand that, okay, it's fine for me to make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, their skills grow. They don't repeat it again. They've been able to think out, okay, if I do it this way, it won't work. So now I know to try a different way. So we're building them beyond just coming to face the crowd. And remember that every child's journey is different. It is not a one size fits all thing. And that's why I talked about the layers of public speaking, where you talk about the communication, you talk about the meaning, putting their thoughts together, coordinating the language and planning it before it even comes to the main place of executing, where you're speaking or the child is making a presentation. So remember that there are different stages. So at some point, your child might be struggling with comprehension. And at another point, it is putting the thoughts together. It is articulating it for it to come out. Whatever stage it is, identify and form the ladder for the children. Make the ladder and help them go through it. Don't forget to trust the process, because in trusting the process, you know that I will take my time. I will calm down. I will not compare. Why? Because I will see the results if I stay with it. Consistency is key. So instead of seeing only the fault of the child, hey, you don't know how to talk, you don't do this. Can you turn the lights and ask, what support can I give my child? What does my child actually need from me as a parent to support on this journey to make them go from the place of shy to the place of being good with public speaking and seeing that they can actually do it? Thank you very much for your time this evening, parents. I hope it was worth your time and you found value. Can we please let me know what your takeaway is from tonight's session? If after today, what would you be doing differently as a mother? What would you be doing differently as a father? I think I had one father on the call. I don't know if he's still here. So what will you do after today? Okay, now I think I've got all mothers. So what will you do after today? Post this webinar. What will you do differently with your child? Now I want to hear parents. Please, I would be happy if every parent on this call can tell me what they will do differently after today. Do I start from Mrs. Salamotu this time? I'm starting from. Are you happy to talk? Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. It's good to have you.
Okay, I will start by saying this is a great section and
Thank you.
a lot to take in and a lot to be guilty of. But it's all for good. We are here to learn. We are here to make things right and relearn, unlearn, and make it right. So, what I would do differently is I think it's okay. I will let them make mistakes. It's okay for them to make mistakes. And through those mistakes, they will learn. And I should not, I should not make them, how will I put this now? Want them to think like the way I think, do
Sure.
things the way um, I could have done it, forgetting that they are children.
Beautiful.
I will let them be children and learn, giving them the opportunity to learn even through their mistakes, and giving them that listening ears, not shutting them off when they are trying to express themselves. Because sometimes oh, the last thing you want is somebody talking and talking and talking and talking. But
Yeah.
truthfully,
We're
they
building
want to,
skills.
yeah, they want to express themselves.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
are telling them, will you just keep quiet, please? It's enough. It's enough.
yeah.
And they are wondering, like, did I do anything wrong? I was just trying to tell you how I feel also. So I think I will learn to, like, even if I want to tell them it's enough, keep quiet, I will rather pinch myself and tell myself that allow them to just, even if it doesn't make sense, even if they are saying rubbish, um, I will learn to listen. So I think there are a lot of things that I will kind of
Beautiful,
try
beautiful.
to implement
Thank you
after.
very much for sharing. Thank you. I'm glad you found it useful and you've got takeaways from this evening. Thank you very much. Please, Mary, go for it, Mrs. Mary. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. So for me, one of my take is letting them know that even me as an adult, I get nervous too. So it's a common thing.
Yeah,
Because most time we'll kind of model like we being perfect. Like there was not a time where we failed or had a
yeah,
mistake or where we were culprit of this. So they see us like, oh, mom is that perfect person, dad is that perfect person that hadn't made mistake at any point. But letting them know that I made mistake today, like I was nervous today, I said what I shouldn't say, and all those things make them feel, oh, it's normal. That's part of being a human being. It's normal, but we get to learn and grow.
yeah.
And also I'll pre-inform them of maybe if we're going out or going to some place, we're going to meet this, just to give them an idea of what's going to be expected when we arrive at that place so that they will not be off guard. So they
Yeah,
can prepare beforehand and
that's
then
beautiful.
they will just be less stressed when they get there.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
also to model public speaking. If you've not got opportunities for them to speak in public, but at home you can just say, oh, read this place for me, you take turns, or you
Yeah,
read, I read, so that at home too it'll be an opportunity for them to practice public speaking as well.
yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really a take home because if you allow them, when you allow children do these presentations to you at home, it goes a long way to build their minds. You hear them say, I should do it, I should stand. And when they're doing it, there's this thing with trying to make it as real as possible. So teach them to take the posture as they will, like they're doing it in front of the audience. So let them know, okay, you need to stay. Just teach them those little skills that they need to put into it if they were doing it originally outside. How do you tell them to look at the crowd, read the book or something? And before you know it, it becomes a natural part of their lives. And you'll be surprised at how much a child will wow when you share a mistake or an error that you've made with them. And they're like, ah, you mean you did this too? Because I've had that experience with my children. When I said, ah, mommy, you've done it too. And it makes them feel, oh, I'm not alone. And that thing with belonging makes them relax a little and gives them the confidence to try. So well done, and I'm glad that you shared, Mary, Mrs. Mary. Thank you very much. Mrs. Abayomi, please, can you go for it?
Oh, hello,
What will you
Sister
do
Cynthia.
differently
Hello,
after
everyone.
today?
Thank you so much for this wonderful platform. There are so many takeaways, to be honest. And I will guarantee you that even all those things we've discussed, sometimes it's going to be like a flashback. Like when occurrences happens, you'll be like, oh, we've discussed,
Yeah.
it just comes naturally. But my take home number one would be appreciating the little things. I think it goes a long way. Even if you feel it's not like it should be, just try and appreciate them as much as you can. Then you can now give them your own inputs. And number two is letting them know we are all vulnerable. We've done it before. We can make mistake. We're allowed to make mistake. It's just the opportunity not to, or not to do that again. If you've done it once, you've been corrected, then don't let it happen again. You know. So to be honest, like I said, there's a lot to take in, and yeah, I'll just say those two for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
rushing out as well. Sorry about that.
No, no, no. Thank you very
All right.
much. That
Thank
was
you,
really
everyone.
helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And it's beautiful to know, allow them see our vulnerabilities too, because that makes them build like, oh, remember I said that means I'm not alone. And for the little things they do, when she was saying if they make a mistake once, you tell them not to make the mistake again. As children, don't make the mistakes over and again. Let's look at how we also do things. We ask God for forgiveness over and again. So even if they do, let's tell them that it's part of the process. They will get there because reassuring a child helps the child on their journey, not just in public speaking, but in every area of their life. But we don't give excessive reassurance. We need to also know where to draw the line because we're not saying things, oh, that was a smart speech. That's a vague thing. If you tell them about the speech, maybe they've just given a presentation, tell them where they did well. Oh, that was so much effort you put into coming in front of the crowd. So that's defined, not just giving them a big cap and then they begin to think, oh, that's how they get it from people daily. So there are things we actually should not say when trying to encourage them, even as parents. But let's be specific about those things that we've seen them do, those efforts that we have seen them make, so that we can call them by their names and it stays with the children. It builds them up. Thank you very much for sharing. Mrs. Jemima, please, can you go? What will you do differently from today? Are you able to speak, Mrs. Jemima? Okay. I'm not sure she's able to. Can I have Mrs. Olamide, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah. I think it's just still reflecting on all the boxes. I think I scrum grabbed the boxes to be able to see whether there are blind spots that I've not looked into.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's my big takeaway to be able to say, okay, I feel maybe there are things I feel I'm already doing or
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing. And
think about them.
yeah,
That
thank
was
you so
I this can grab the boxes.
Thank you. Thank you very much for letting us know. Thank you for screen grabbing. It's allowed. It's part of the process. And as parents, just to let us know that we are still humans. We will fall. We'll make mistakes. We might even find ourselves go back to those paths where we thought we had come out from. But it's the awareness that makes the difference. It's the acknowledging that we've made a mistake that also so you're aware, oh, I need to move from here. I just realized, oh, I've gone back again. Then you take a step in the right direction. So even when you fall, even when you make mistakes, can you extend grace to yourself? And don't extend grace to yourself alone, but also extend it to the children, because that's how they build the skills. That's how they know, okay, mommy is with me in this journey, daddy is with me in this journey. And you cannot do life by yourself, remember. Get other friends, get people, get your safe spaces, the people, your trusted adults, the people you can allow your children stay with. Get them to be on board with this thing so that as you're changing, as you're making the change, their own children are changing and nobody's pulling your own children back. It is important that we take home these things we have learned and put them to use. I am so grateful that you spent this minutes. I think that's about an hour, 30 minutes with me this evening out of your tight schedules, and you made out time to come for the webinar. I am grateful and it was really nice having you. I hope it was worth your time at the end. Thank you very much. From the takeaway, I would say it was worth your time. If you have any other questions or anything you want to share, the floor is open. But if not, that brings us to the end of the webinar for today. And I am so grateful that you all joined me this evening. Is there anybody who wants to share? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you all for coming this evening. I'll just allow you then to go have a wonderful evening and have the best night rest you can. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.